7 money traps to avoid in your 20s. In this video, I'm gonna share with you the 7 worst money traps I fell into in my 20s so that you can avoid them if you're in your 20s now. Honestly, these are very common money mistakes that kept me very poor for a long time until I discovered the FIRE community. No, the FIRE as in Financial Independence Retire Early Community. What is up everyone, it's David here. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to my channel, click onto the bell so that every Wednesday you have a decent looking bald Asian man sliding into your notifications with videos about money and business. Make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because at the very end, I'll be sharing a mini life hack that has turned my life from a pretentious, broke-ass person living paycheck to paycheck to someone who is able to save 60% of my monthly paycheck and now on track to be financially independent when I am 35. So without further ado, let's go. The first trap that I fell into, one of my worst mistakes, is not paying myself first. And by paying myself, I'm talking about routing a specific amount of money into a savings account so that you can either save it or just invest it.
Now, I'm not perfect, and especially in my early 20s, I spent the majority of my paycheck buying things like nice suits, and probably too many of them, as well as spending an exorbitant amount of money buying colognes from friends so that no one would smell like me besides myself.
Of course, I got some nice compliments, but looking back now, I do wish I came across the FIRE community a little earlier, just so that I know the distinction between something I do need versus something that I don't need. So the benefit of paying yourself first is that 1, you're learning how to save, and if you're proactive enough, you should be investing that money, and 2, if you choose to, you can set aside some small budget for your passions. For me personally, creating videos has been a passion that I discovered only recently, and it gives me a chance to relearn a lot of the things I was taught in university or just practicing how to invest myself. And I set aside a small marketing budget for these videos that I create for you guys because my channel is still very small and I do need to spend a bit of money to push it out there for the wider internet to see. And if you do want to support me, all I'm really asking is you gently tapping that like button, and also let me know in the comments below in terms of what is your worst money mistake. I'm letting you into my life. I would love to learn from you too. Which brings me to my next point. And my next point is living above your means using credit cards. Now, living above your means is already bad enough, and you gotta do it with credit cards? Like what I mentioned in point number 1, I spent money buying things I clearly cannot afford, or I was just overly pretentious with my suits and designer perfumes that I clearly didn't need. And in my books, debt that is not used towards generating more income is just generally bad debt. Especially nowadays, you have ZipPay, Afterpay that makes purchases super easy, and the monthly payments is probably so minuscule that you feel like, hey, I can have the latest of everything. The thing is, even though those purchases may seem very small because of monthly payments, it can add up really quickly. And this is the problem of this frictionless purchase society that we can have anything that we want instantly. And the most precious resource that we have in our 20s is time. And time is the fuel for compound interest. But the worst enemy of compound interest is bad debts. Credit card debt, especially the interest rate on those, are extremely high. Now, I'm not saying no to credit cards because at the end of the day, it might be good to build your credit score if you just have a couple credit cards, pay those down as quickly as you can. But the most important thing to remember there is pay down your balance every month. So don't carry a balance ever. No matter how good your returns are, if you just have a lot of debt, it will always just eat away all your returns. The underlying message in this point is this. Next time you make a big purchasing decision, think about whether you can actually afford it with your own money without using debt. Now, if you can't afford it, I will highly suggest you to reconsider or hold off that purchase until you can afford it with your own money. Because debt can be used in other places that help you generate more income, and so that in the future, you can have whatever you want. Number 3, this money trap is one of the things I regret the most in my early 20s. And this is definitely the key ingredients to building wealth in the future and becoming wealthy in your 30s. And that's not smashing the like button. But seriously, all I'm asking for is just you to tap that like button right there. So going back on topic, not investing in my 20s is one of the things I regretted the most. Now, if you're waving your credit card in the air like you just don't care, then I know you are not saving any of your money. And if you're not saving any of your money, it's unlikely that you're gonna be investing any of that money. So for me personally, in my early 20s, like I mentioned in the earlier sections of the video, I spent all my money buying things that I don't need to impress people I barely even knew. And as I became more mature and coming across the FIRE community, what I realized was not saving and not investing investing is a symptom of not spending time learning how to invest. And it's ironic because my whole bachelor degree was in applied finance and economics, and you would have thought that they would teach you how to invest for yourself. But no, they taught me how to make other people richer. So if you're in your 20s now, compound interest is at its peak performance state. So it's important to invest that money while you're young and let compound interest work its magic. Now, if you want to learn more about how to invest and what to invest in, I made a full video right here. That should help you build the foundational knowledge that you need to start investing in your 20s. So feel free to check it out, this video, before you come back and finish watching this one. Okay, number 4, and that's expensive relationships. Let me explain. If you need to buy your partner expensive items continuously just so that he or she could be happy, I can already tell you that is a sinking ship. And I'm not a relationship expert by any means. I'm just saying that there are better things that you can buy or better things that you can do between you and your partner to cultivate that relationship. Why does it always have to be expensive restaurant dinners at like Michelin star restaurants, or like buying some really expensive bags on your credit card just so that he or she could be somewhat happy for like 5 hours? Let me share something with you. I was that person. I was that person buying other people expensive stuff just so that they want to hang around me. And as an immigrant from another country, I just wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to feel a sense of belonging, and I didn't want to feel like an outlier, that I have no friends to hang around with. Obviously, my self-esteem was really bad at the time, and I didn't realize there was this whole world of self-development, and I didn't really know how to build my own self-esteem at the time. Luckily for me, I had a couple breakthroughs, especially in my university life and in my 20s, that I realized what it is that I want, and I broke away from a lot of those toxic relationships, which is great. And all I can tell you learning from those experiences is that those relationships, especially where you have to keep up with purchasing other people something, they don't last, and they're usually pretty superficial. And also, I'm very, very fortunate now that I've chosen to date someone who have similar money values as me, as well as have the same drive towards financial independence in the future. There is no need to buy really expensive stuff to keep her happy. She's happy when we spend time together. She's happy when I give her all my attention for a couple hours during the day or hang out over the weekends. So all I'm trying to say is that if you have to spend a ton of money to maintain a relationship, it's time that you ask yourself, what is that relationship to you? What if you take that money away, take that spending habits away? Would you still have that relationship? Now, if you don't have that relationship, then you gotta make a choice. Either you stay poor and spend that money on that person that don't wanna hang around you if you don't spend money on them, or you can choose to spend money on yourself. Take your pick. Number 5, and that's sticking to what you understand when it comes to investments. Over our lifetime, especially in our 20s and 30s, where we're still just trying to get to know the world a little bit better, there's gonna be plenty of family and friends telling you about the next hot stock, or option trading, or cryptocurrencies that will make you rich in the next 6 to 12 months. Now, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. You have to ask yourself when you're presented with those deals that, do you know anything about the asset? Do you understand the business model of how they plan to make money sometime into the future? Now, if the answer to that question is no, then you really have 2 options. The first option is you spend time learning more about the asset, learning the nitty-gritties and the details of how they plan to make money sometime into the future. And if you've done your due diligence and you've decided that investing in that asset will contribute towards your financial goals, then by all means, go for it. The only thing I'll ask you is that please do not invest an amount that you know you're going to need sometime into the future. Just invest amounts that you don't really need, because it is very, very likely that you will never see that money again. And you have to treat it that way when it comes to speculative investments like that. And the second option is you make an emotional decision and you jump into it.
And in 2017 and 2018, I took that option.
My colleagues in the startup that I was working at the time made money from it, and they made a substantial amount, and for whatever reason, I wasn't educated enough, and I jumped into that world. Luckily for me, what I was looking for at the time was I wanted to diversify my portfolio with alternative assets such as cryptocurrency. The majority of my portfolio was still invested in index funds, dividend shares, basically everything I've been preaching in this channel, but because of what my friends and colleagues have said, I invested a discretionary amount into that world. And all I can tell you now is that majority of the value has been wiped because I invested at the peak. All I'm trying to say in this point is this: stick to what you understand when it comes to investments. Now, if it's a speculative investment or something that's really high risk, please do not invest money that you know you're going to need. You should never do that, because with high risk investments like that, you have to expect whatever that you put in is gone. you'll flush that down the toilet and don't expect anything back from those. Money trap number 6, and that's not having a financial goal. So if you watched this far into the video, then you know that in my early 20s, I was pretty irresponsible and very, very naive. And I definitely didn't have a financial goal. I only realized the importance of setting financial goals in my mid-20s when I discovered the FIRE community. So if you want to set some financial goals for yourself, here are some couple simple steps that you can take to start setting goals for yourself. So you want to start off with the end in mind. Where do you want to be in the future? So for me personally, I want to be financially independent when I am 35, meaning that the income produced from my assets will cover all my expenses. With that end in mind, the next step that I have to take is what is the amount that I need in order for me to be financially independent. And you can use the calculator that I have left in the link below. And to save you some time, it cost me approximately $859,000 by age of 35 for me to be financially independent. Then after you realize how much you need in order to be financially independent, this is where you start building your plan of how much you need to save, how much you need to invest to be on track to be financially independent at that age. Now, the good thing about the calculator I shared in the description is that it will tell you approximately how much you need to invest per month in order to get to your goal. That became my plan to stay on track to reach my goal. And the last thing when it comes to setting financial goals is that you need to reward yourself. You need to learn how to reward yourself when you stay on track. So for me personally, I really love creating videos or learning. So I buy myself courses when I stay on track when it comes to investing. Sounds really nerdy, but hey, that's me. Ultimately, if you want to build wealth for your future self, it's important for you to set goals. Once you start setting goals, then you'll build your plan around that goal. Now, if you don't have a goal, it's really hard to build a plan around that goal. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing a step-by-step guide in terms of how you can achieve financial independence. If you want to be notified when I release that video, make sure you subscribe to me and click onto the bell so that when that video is dropped, you'll be the first one to know. The 7th money trap. And that's not tracking where your money is going. No matter how well you think you are doing when it comes to saving your money, investing your money, or even just spending wisely, you can always do better. The occasional eating out, getting Uber Eats, or having an additional coffee, those things do add up. And sometimes it becomes unnoticed if you don't regularly check your expenses. So you can use an app or a spreadsheet for this, but I personally just scroll through my transactions every so often to see if there's anything that's out of my budget. Because I set aside a monthly budget for my expenses, I know pretty quickly if I spent too much on something. So it's always good to know where your money is going because you can always save just a little bit more. And if you save a little bit more, you can invest more. And if you can invest more, you'll be wealthier in the future. I promise you that if you watch this video all the way to the end, I will share a life hack with you. Here's the life hack. Stop surrounding yourself with people with broke habits. That is probably the absolute worst money trap of all. Now, the 7 money traps that I mentioned in the video might seem pretty easy to avoid if you're just consciously aware of it and you know how to deal with it. But when you're surrounding yourself with people with broke habits, it's very hard to identify what is a bad habit and what is a good habit. Because everyone is doing it, then it must be good, right? And the thing is, no matter how determined you are to build wealth for yourself, if people around you are spending like a maniac and they're just using their credit card left, right, and center and racking up bad debts, you're gonna end up doing that too. Because when you want to do something good for yourself, when you want to save and invest, to other people it's gonna seem strange. They don't like the way that you are doing certain things. And it's just gonna make it really, really hard for you to build on those really good financial habits to build wealth in the future. So if you're trying to set yourself up building financial independence for the future, you need to ask yourself, who are the top 5 people you are surrounding yourselves with? That includes your family, your friends. What habits do they have? And do they want similar things and see money the same way that you are? Because if they don't, I can promise you that building those good financial habits is gonna be super difficult. And this life hack was my secret from living paycheck to paycheck to someone finally able to save 60% of their income and be on track to be financially independent when I am 35. So thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end. I really appreciate it because that really helps out my channel out a lot. And even though it's a small gesture, I would just really, really appreciate it if you can gently smash that like button because that will give the YouTube algorithm the fuel to spread this video for more people to see. And subscribe to my channel, click onto the bell so that every Wednesday you have a decent looking bold Asian man sliding into your notifications with more videos about how you can be wealthy sometime in the future. And until next time, see you soon.